Hi everybody, welcome back. Hope you are all well. Now, I've teamed up with Yuasa to create a couple of videos for you, specifically dealing with leisure batteries. And in this video, we're going to go through some frequently asked questions dealing with leisure batteries. Now, there's an awful lot of questions, and I may not be able to squeeze all of them into this video. But today, let's go through some of the more commonly asked questions. And the first one is how to choose the best leisure battery for your caravan or motorhome. Okay, so typically when choosing a leisure battery for your caravan or motorhome, the biggest thing which dictates what battery you can have in your vehicle is the actual battery compartment. So if you're interested in a specific battery, make sure it can fit into your compartment. Now, when we bought this Bailey, we actually had to buy a brand new battery because the battery compartment in this caravan was too short. So we had to go for something that wasn't so high. A big consideration if you are changing caravans as well. But another thing to consider is the cycle life of a battery. Now, when I say cycle life, that's how many times the battery can be discharged from 50% right back up again. The higher the cycle life, the more the battery can do in its service period. Motor movers do draw a lot of current, and to simplify the process of choosing a suitable battery, the NCC have introduced a verified leisure battery scheme. Long gone are the days where bigger, heavier batteries are considered the best. So the verified leisure battery scheme classifies batteries into separate groups. For example, a single axle like ours with medium usage and with a motor mover installed, we are looking at a Class B leisure battery. For twin axles with heavier usage, twin motor movers, you'll be looking for a Class A leisure battery. Now, if you're interested in the verified leisure battery scheme and want to know more about the battery classes, head on over to the NCC website for more information. Link is in the description below. And finally, when considering your battery, you're going to want one of the latest generations, either an AGM or an EFB. But what do these acronyms actually mean? Well, apart from being a delight for anybody who loves an acronym, it basically boils down to how the battery is constructed. EFB stands for Enhanced Flooded Battery, and AGM is Absorbed Glass Matting. Now, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about AGM batteries in a moment, but in a future video I'm going to be talking about how a battery works, how they're built, and what the differences are between those batteries. So stay tuned for that one in a few weeks' time. Surprisingly, a leisure battery is not an install and forget device. They do need some attention. That attention is essentially keeping it fully charged. And a good way to keep your battery fully charged is to use a smart charger. This can be done with the battery on or off the vehicle. However, if you decide to use a smart charger in the vehicle, in my experience, it's best to make sure the battery terminals are disconnected from the vehicle, so not to confuse any onboard systems. One thing I will say though is if you ever do need to remove your battery from your caravan or motorhome, make sure you have a way of keeping any alarms active and your trackers enabled. In some cases, removing the battery can invalidate your insurance policy, so just be mindful of that before you whip it out. Well, it's a question that's always asked, and it's an answer I can't really give you. It really is dependent on how you use the battery. If you use it lightly, keep it well maintained, keep it topped up and look after your battery, it will last you for years. However, if you do use it heavily, maybe you let it go flat once or twice, and maybe you use it and don't really look after it, it's not going to last you nearly as long. That said, the batteries these days do come with a comprehensive guarantee, so that just gives you a little bit more peace of mind. Vent tubes like this are fitted to a selected number of leisure batteries. They allow the removal of gas. We're talking hydrogen and oxygen, and it allows the removal of those gases to a safe environment outside of your caravan or motorhome. That said, AGM batteries don't usually need a vent tube. And that's because in an AGM battery there is no free acid. When I say free acid, that's acid which can allow to move around inside the battery. Instead, the acid is absorbed into that glass mat, hence absorbed glass mat. It doesn't spill and it doesn't fall out of the battery. Perfect if your battery has to be contained in the living area of your caravan or motorhome. It also means that if the battery is tipped over, there will be no acid that will come out of the battery. Now, saying that AGM batteries don't need a vent is true to a point. If there is ever a fault in the battery charging system, there can be the possibility of pressure build-up inside the battery itself. Now there is a valve fitted to AGM batteries, which if that pressure builds up, it will allow the vent of any pressure from inside the battery cavity. Right, and the final point, how do you check the amount of charge in your battery? Well, you know, caravans and motorhomes these days have a variety of methods that you can check your battery indicator. From the panel on the caravan, there's even apps and tools available to you to tell you how much charge is in the battery. But you know, all these devices and all these systems require power in order to tell you how much power there is. So there is no substitute to physically checking the charge of your battery using a multimeter. And there's a good reason for that. When you disconnect your battery, there is no power coming out of your battery and there's no demand on it. So use a multimeter. They're really inexpensive. You can plug them straight onto your battery and it will give you an honest answer straight away. Now when I make my measurements on my battery, I tend to leave the battery disconnected for a couple of hours, and that gives the battery time to settle down. It's important if it's just been charged up, or if it's important if it's just being used. So leave it disconnected for a couple of hours and then make your readings. So what do the numbers actually mean? Well, a battery of between 12.6 and 12.72 means the battery is fully charged. Now the general specs on the Yuasa batteries basically says that anything of 12.39 volts or below means the battery is discharged and will need recharging. And it's really recommended that you use something like a smart charger to bring that battery back up to full charge. Right, and there we go. I hope that's been useful for you. I hope that's answered some questions when dealing with leisure batteries. There'll always be questions, and if you do have a good question when regarding leisure batteries, put them in the comments below and I'll try my best to answer them for you. There's a couple of points I want to raise in a couple of weeks. I'm having dedicated videos for those points coming out on this channel, and I've been waiting some time to do these, to be honest with you. But now I've got the backing of an industry-leading name in battery power from Yuasa batteries, and they've been fantastic in supplying me information, some props, and you'll see the result of all of that in a few weeks' time. So a huge thank you to GS Yuasa for teaming up with me on this video. If you have any interest in their batteries, you know, head on over to their web shop, have a look to see online. They're available on Amazon, they're available everywhere, to be honest with you. They're really quite popular batteries. But that's it from me today. So please hit the subscribe button on our channel, hit the notification icon as well, and if you're interested, why not consider becoming a member? So thanks very much guys, we'll see you next week. Take care now, bye bye.